Let's talk about the Temur Frontier. Now, the Temur are very loosely based on indigenous peoples of like Siberia. They're semi-nomadic people that live to the far north. They are led by the Dragon Claw, and their leaders are also informed by the Whisperers, the lead whisperer known as the Twice Whisper. Now, these Whisperers commune with spirits, but more like elemental spirits rather than the Abzans, like ancestor spirits. And these spirits give glimpses of the past and the future. In fact, it's these Whisperers that gave Sarkhan Val sort of his vision of the past and dragons that started him on his path. Now, they're made up primarily of humans, but you can find Yeti in their territory, ogres, goblins, as well as Anak dogfolk as well. And they have a pretty cool tradition of unconventional mounts. Their rival was Atarka, who eventually became their Dragon Lord. Yasova, the last Dragon Claw of the original Temur, ends up surrendering to Atarka and having her people bring like an offering, a food offering. And Atarka is the dragon that talks the least out of any of these dragons. She's like as wild as she can be. A truce is reached, and the Temur become part of Atarka's clan, and it's their responsibility to bring her food. The highest ranking non-dragon becomes the Hunt Caller, who is the person in charge of finding this food for the dragons. But there's a problem. After about 1,000 years, they've hunted the wildlife to near extinction. Surak is the Hunt Caller. In the original timeline, he was Dragon Claw, but this is what he is now. Serving Atarka, whose brood has thawed a lot of their icy mountains. The rebellion against Atarka's brood came from the Whisperers, which Yasova had set up to continue their tradition in secret. And so they're led by Eshki Dragonclaw with the Twice Whisperer at her side, and all the other different nomadic bands also have a non-magical leader and a Whisperer who's like their second. Oh, and they also have Luxodon. You can see like the woolly Luxodon there. I really like the woolly mammoth Luxodon. They're cool. The Temur update is one of my favorite. They are so much more colorful and joyful. During the summer, their bands leave and go do their hunting thing. And in the winter, they gather at Karakik, which I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but this is their like warm winter abode where everyone gathers and they live out the winter months here, which are just barely survivable anywhere else. I think this art specifically might be Mistrise Village, which is another one they have, but I'm just using it for, this is the art we got right now. Clan dragons remain. I really like this like updated clan dragon guy, although the classic Atarka dragons I'm sure are still around as well. And in general, I just love this new vibe. They believe in something called the Endless Song, which is an energy that permeates like the land and connects all of time, just like I talked about, like the past and future. And a neat detail is that it's possible this Eternal Song connects to timelines that didn't exist. So like the Khan's timeline. Namely that part of their belief system might explain how Sarkhan traveled back in time, especially because the Crucible of the Spirit Dragon, where Ugin fell, or the tomb in the Khans of Tarkir timeline, was in Temur space. Make sure to check out the Planeswalkers guides to Tarkir Dragonstorm. This one includes so much information about these clans as cultures rather than just as like warriors.